Good evening, folks. This is Scott Giorgini of MirrorlessCentral.com, also of HybridPhoto.pro, and I am very excited. Today is New Year's Day 2014, folks, and things are looking bright.
Yeah, they are.
In the world of photography, mirrorless cameras, etc.
Yeah.
I've got a very special guest tonight, and we've got a lot of amazing information to share with you. I've been working with this gentleman now for about a year and a half on some really exciting cutting-edge projects. And I'll tell you what, this guy that I'm about to talk to is a hybrid photo innovator. He's a photo innovator, period. When he's talking about something today, everyone else will probably be talking about it a year or two down the line. So he's really ahead of the game when it comes to innovation in photo and video. And it is my distinct pleasure to bring on to talk what's happening in 2014 and beyond, the one and only Coach Will Crockett.
Yay!
Will, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for taking time out of your holiday to meet with my schedule. I appreciate it greatly, man.
Well, thank you for joining me tonight, Will. And we've got a lot to share with the folks. And, you know, I've been working with you now for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff that we've been working on is just about ready to pop.
Yeah, isn't it great?
And I can't keep it like bottled in.
I know, I'm the same
So,
way.
you know, that's why I'm spending my New Year's Eve talking to you, because I want everybody out there to know what we've been working on.
Well, in the early days, people used to say, you know, Will, are you sure that's the way it's going to go? I go, yeah, that's the way it's going to go. Well, how are we going to get there? And I'd map out a little plan, and they'd look. Then a year goes by, and they go, you know, I think I might give that a try. And then, of course, now we're at the spot where people are actually doing it, and they're going, hey, this stuff works. I'm selling e-products.
Absolutely, and that's beautiful. And that's beautiful, because what's been happening here, and why we've waited till now, is because not only are we using the improving technology of mirrorless cameras, which makes what we're doing a lot easier, we've also been developing some of our own technology to bring it into the mix and merge everything together. So can you share with the folks a little bit more about the e-products and what's going on with e-products?
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to formulate in my own business how we're going to go from shooting still photos that me as a commercial photographer would sell as files to go into advertising and marketing collateral. But my friends that shoot portrait style work, they're ended up making a print and then selling that print, right? That's how they make a dollar. Well, as people move into screens, they want to have beautiful images on their screens. It's not just as easy as, well, I'll just shoot 60 or 70 photos and put them up on a Zenfolio page or whatever. Well, that doesn't work. There's no sense of value there. So as photographers go, they want to experiment with all the different stuff that they've got at their disposal. And of course, one of them that they've overlooked is the video button. Why are so many people, Scott, just so intimidated by pressing that video button?
I don't know. I mean, I come from video background to begin with. I came out of the TV studio industry, and I'm actually building a studio right here in my house, and that's how you and I connected. But I don't think I was very intimidated by the still photo button, so I really don't see why the people that shoot stills as a main thing are intimidated by that little red button. It's the same principle.
Well, once we got them over that and showed them, you know, here's how you record audio. And so having a person speaking, we call it a talking portrait. You'll be able to see and then change your lighting. That's the first hurdle to becoming this, not so much a futurist, but the hybrid photographer of tomorrow, which is soon today. Well, the other big one, buddy, was editing video. Photographers were falling into this whole trap of this fusion nonsense, and hope none of the viewers that are watching are offended. I guess I should use better words, but when we talk about fusion, there's no profit model there. That's not a business model. I mean, we're talking about X's and O's in business. There's no way you can go to a bride and say, oh, guess what? We're going to shoot this, 2-minute long cinematic trash your dress running through the woods, running away from Jack the Ripper or something. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is we want photographers to know that they're going to shoot an e-product, an electronic product. And let's target 30 seconds is all it needs to be. Because if a photographer is really good, they can shoot still photos as well as video and audio and graphics, maybe a little music, and they can make 30 seconds be magical and profitable. But the hard part was, buddy, how do we get photographers to stay inside that 30-minute thing? How do we get them to be able to organize their source files that they shoot the photo, video, and audio? How do we get them to send it somewhere to have them edited? Right? I always use the analogy that I have all kinds of inkjet printers, right? I love inkjet prints. I keep 17 different paper services here in stock. at the studio, I've got 3 more, right? Image print, I got all that stuff. But I tell photographers all the time, unless you're shooting high-end black and white work like Hauser is, send it to the lab. Well, same thing now about editing video. I'm telling photographers, don't go take multiple hours of learning how to use Adobe Premiere and Final Cut. Instead, find a hybrid lab, find an editing source, even a regional video editing person that's got some open time. Use them instead. So that's where I teamed up with longtime super genius Dan Foster. And Dan has created the perfect spot for that. So he takes little e-templates that we get from myetemplate.com or .pro, which is actually my website. Sorry for the cheap plug. But that goes to be edited into hybridlab.pro, which is Dan Foster's lab. So in order for us as photographers to identify what we want to create and how we want to create it, and then where we're going to sell it and how we're going to sell it, we got to make sure it's really smooth and simple, and that's exactly what we did.
Absolutely. You kiss the whole process. You keep it super simple. And we have now where people used to take still images and upload them to a lab to get the prints.
Yep.
Now you can do the same thing with e-products. And why are e-products so important today? What has changed in the world that make e-products the going trend now, and they're going to make the printed photo kind of a thing of the past? I was telling you, I was out with my mom the other day shopping at Kohl's, looking in the wallets, and all those little plastic sleeves in there where you used to keep the still photos are gone. Why is that?
That's because there is a screen everywhere, right? Who doesn't go around with an iPhone or any sort of tablet? Yeah, at least one, right?
Absolutely.
Our job as image makers is to record a moment, a memory, a product, a marketing message, and get it into some sort of image. And now that image, instead of being in a magazine or on a print on a wall, it's on a screen. So the forward-thinking photographers are the ones that are going, okay, I get it, I see where I'm going to go, and now we're adapting our business model to actually suit that. So what we think photographers need to jump on is figure out what's the easiest, fastest, funnest way for them to create photo and video and audio so that they don't have any boundaries, right? I hate restrictions, man. Let's enable photographers to say, hey, use whatever equipment you want to, we don't care, but make your customers happy by delivering that electronic product as well as the printed product.
And you want to know, well, I've been getting a lot of feedback on mirrorlesscentral.com, and I know we've been getting it on hybridphoto.pro as well. People leaving comments or the Ask Will section on hybridphoto.pro.
Yeah, it's busy.
People are saying, Will, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm getting hybrid. I've seen the light. Is there anywhere I can see you in public to learn more about hybrid?
Yes.
So what do you have coming up this weekend?
We do.
Another shameless plug.
No, thank you. We have the biggie. We've been waiting 8 months to get to this spot. Every year, I'm one of the primary speakers at PMA, which is Photo Marketing Association. Now, they're an industry group. They're not so much aimed towards photographers. They're aimed towards groups of photographers. So if you had a company that did graduations or kids' schools or kids' sports portraits, this would be your annual convention. So it piggybacks with CES. I mean, it's big. It's a big deal. Well, they have come to me and said, Will, this year we want you to come and speak about all this e-product stuff. Show the folks where this whole marketplace is going, because they see printed product sales going down, 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 down. Years past, they said, what do we do to reverse that trend? And years past, I would say, there's no way to reverse that trend. They were under the assumption that printed product sales were slumping because of the economy. And I said, no, you guys are wrong. It's because of screens. So my program on January 5 is actually the first time ever that PMA has done a live streaming seminar event. So January 5, 3 p.m. Pacific time, they're going to stream out my 90-minute program called The Profitable E-Product. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of our e-product categories, which is the E-Card Pro. And if you wouldn't mind in your magic post-production, if you could show my e-card without my phone number, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Right in here somewhere. I want to show you a marketing and sales tool that I've got that I think is ideal for your outfit. It's the replacement to the printed business card. It's called an eCard Pro, and it's something that I actually developed. I don't know if you know my background or not, but I am a photo technology developer, and Mark Hauser's been one of my clients as well as one of my test photographers, as well as being a commercial photographer myself. Well, we believe that photo technologies are leading us into beautiful marketing solutions. For instance, why doesn't your profile picture on LinkedIn allow you to talk and tell somebody what you do, who you are, why you do it, and why you're the best at it? We're ready. First, when somebody asks me, for instance, for my business card, I don't have a printed business card. Instead, I use an e-card. I tell them I keep an electronic card right here, and if you notice on the lower right side of my panels, I just click, that loads up my e-card, which is a video that actually plays through a beautiful delivery system. I can either hit play and show it for them, or I can on the bottom hit that little send button. And I can choose sending it via text, via email, via Facebook if I want to, or Twitter. I can use AirDrop if you happen to be a Mac person. So I'll click message, which will create a brand new text. I'll put in or ask the person to put their cell phone number in, hit send, and then that text hits that person's phone. In that text is a link, and it looks just like this. And when they click on that, it loads up, no matter if they're connected to Wi-Fi or just 3G, 4G, and plays this. I'm Will Crockett, commercial hybrid photographer and photo technology developer. My company shoots photo and video and audio for new media marketing and advertising solutions. We also help develop some of the products that you see every day in the changing world of hybrid photography. Then at the end, it goes to a control panel that's assignable, and this is the magic of the e-card. It allows someone to one touch and dial the phone, one touch and send an email, one touch and call that person. And this can be easily formatted to fit into the footer of an email to work on every Facebook post. And of course, it works perfectly as an e-card. That hyperlink is then saved to the contact record, the database record inside the person's phone. And of course, anytime somebody wants to update their e-card with something new, or they get a promotion, or they meet a sales goal, they get a limited edition e-card Pro, they get to show that again with their clients. Smart way to reach out and reward some of the sales folks that do a terrific job for what you do. Okay, we're back. And then we're able to shoot one of those live on stage in Las Vegas in front of 3,000 people. I'm going to take all those components, going to show exactly how I do it. We're going to upload it to a hybrid lab. They're going to take 15 minutes to edit it and send it back. And at the end of the program, I'm going to give not only the live audience, but the people on the streaming broadcast the actual link to go see that actual file that I just created, to prove that if you know what you're doing as a photographer, you shoot photo and video into a templatized environment, right? You can bang out what this will be a $299 product in 18 minutes. That's where I'm at.
You're taking all the guesswork out of it. By templatized, you mean that you're telling people exactly which shots they need to get still photo-wise and exactly what kind of video clips they need. In other words, a general idea of what the content is going to be and the length of that video clip.
Exactly right.
And they just take those files, shoot them up to Danny and the gang at the hybrid lab.
That's right.
And then their product is put up online with all the bells and whistles, and it looks beautiful and it sounds beautiful, and everything they need is done automatically.
As photographers, in comes real estate salesperson. I was talking to you before we went on air here about a large commercial real estate group in Chicago that's about to become our first big eCard Pro customer. Mm-hmm. So in comes their salesperson. They walk into the studio, hit the bathroom, go to the dressing room, make sure that they're A-OK. They come back in. They've been prepped ahead of time that they need to do one 5-second piece of audio that introduces their name and their job title. Then one 9 or 12-second, depending which version they choose, piece of video that says what they specialize in. And then we just combine that with a couple fresh photos that we shoot of them with the rest of the graphics, and it's it. It literally is, I need less than 30 minutes of their time. Mm-hmm. We collect all the data on an iPad, so I get the spelling of their name and everything correct. It gets all smushed together in one folder. Whoop, there it goes. Comes right back down, and it's delivered on myeCard.pro.
And all the backgrounds are done all the titles, fonts, and everything are already chosen. It's
Yeah.
all you're doing is replacing those with the person's actual information, their name,
Yeah.
their website, their email, etc.
That's right. And if somebody wants a customized piece, no problem. We can do a customized piece too. You know, we've got full editing facility if we need it. But I don't think photographers need to spend a whole lot of time in that. I think they'll figure out this whole templatized environment, and we use ProShow as the editing
Yep.
engine for that. And I tell you what, ProShow Producer is spectacular when it comes
Absolutely.
to working every day.
And I'll tell you what, I've
punch
been
those
working hand in hand with you on this project, and I'm totally excited about it. We've got a lot of other things to cover, but I mean, I just want to let people know I've been blown away by what Danny and the gang have done at hybridlab.pro.
Same here.
Now let's get back to the tools that we're using to do this, and this is kind of in a roundabout way, the way that Will Crockett and I met.
Yep.
Again, when I was looking to build my studio here, I had been using big, huge cameras in the studio and big, huge DSLRs out of the studio, and I was looking for the best possible cameras that I could use that would do what I wanted them to do. And the DSLRs I was using were producing beautiful video.
Oh, yeah.
But it was pretty, complicated to get to the point where I'm going to shoot those videos.
Cumbersome. Yeah.
So through my studies, I meet this guy who's pretty much the industry's top expert on cameras. That, of course, is you, Will. And I really love the reviews that I've seen you doing online and in
Thank
other
you.
places, because you're very plain spoken in them. You're not beating me over the head with pixels and
That's right.
all the forum troll stuff.
That's
It was
right.
just plain. This camera's good. This is why. This camera is not good because of this, and you don't pull any punches.
We call it real life. It's how that thing really works. Forget about its price and how many megapixels. All that stuff is marketing baloney anyway.
So I want to preface this by saying that we are not here to sell any specific camera, because
No.
you use all of them. But just through your experience and my experience, we seem to have been gravitating toward a certain camera
Yeah.
that really helps us get the job done, and that is the Panasonic GH3.
Yeah, it's true.
And we're very excited that Panasonic is actually sponsoring you at the PMA. Is that correct?
They are, yes. I'm not one of Panasonic's regular, Lumix Luminary talent team
Right.
folks. I did help them assemble that team, but I try to remain camera independent. So some folks will see me speaking for Fujifilm, sometimes for Sony, sometimes for Panasonic. This one is a big deal because I'm really confident that the GH3, because of its terrific price and its performance, is what groups of photographers need to run to. If I was doing a kids' sports portrait business here in suburban Chicago and I needed to dump my DSLRs and I needed to buy 25 mirrorless cameras to shoot hybrid, I'd be making a beeline for the GH3 for multiple reasons. But
Right.
also, too, man, in the portrait studio that I shoot every day, 3 days a week, I shoot in the portrait studio. We're shooting GH3s for our print work, too.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I don't get paid by Panasonic either. I've purchased every piece of photo equipment that I own.
Other than the ones I gave you.
happen to gravitate toward them as well.
Yeah.
I just think that they really do the best for hybrid, as far as it's so easy to shoot video with a Panasonic camera.
Yeah.
So easy to shoot stills. Sony cameras are great. Fuji cameras are outstanding. They're all great. The Olympus cameras are great as well.
Yeah.
Just personally, I've gravitated towards Panasonic, and I love what they've done.
Well, Panasonic came to me and said, "Will, you're the primary speaker at PMA this year." I go, "Yep." They go, "Tell us what we need to do to make an impact and get photography companies that buy in bulk. How do we get them to realize that the Panasonic Lumix camera is for real?" And they don't have just two options, Nikon and Canon. They've got now another one that makes more sense. And I said, well, there's two ways to go about it, right? One is to make a big splash at PMA and take all those guys out to dinner and give them a little demo. And the other one is show them exactly how you make $1 with it and then drop the price on that thing so that they can't ignore it. So I asked them, I said, what's the cheapest price, what's the lowest possible price you can give me for 24 hours? And by the way, I don't get paid on the amount of cameras that get sold. I get one flat fee to do my speaking, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I went to Panasonic, and I said, do me a favor. I said, for 24 hours, give me the lowest price on the tools that I use on the GH3 line. And they asked me to make 3 Crockett kits, 1, 2, and 3. One is a GH3 body only, plus an extra battery. Kit number 2 is a GH3 body, extra battery, and that beautiful 12 to 35 millimeter f2.8 non-shifting
gorgeous
zoom.
lens.
That's my bread and butter right there. Then kit 3 is a body, extra battery, the vertical grip that holds the second battery to allow you to shoot all day, and then both of the pro zooms, the 12 to 35 f2.8 and the 35 to 100 f2.8. And for 24 hours, starting after my program on January 5, it is the lowest price in the world. I'm going to allow people to go to my website, hybridphoto.pro, get a super secret coupon. Then they can go to shop.panasonic.com, plug in that coupon, and they'll be able to get a GH3 for $849.
Wow.
The 12 to 35 millimeter zoom in the kit, number 2 or 3, means it's going to be $999 for a lens that I don't even know if you can buy it for $1,200 anywhere else.
Can't.
No.
So I look.
24 hours only. You got to use my code. You got to go to shop.panasonic.com. Free shipping inside the USA, unfortunately. I'm so sorry for people outside the USA. But if you got any family members or anything that can get it for you here and then ship it to wherever you need to, take advantage of it. Limit 5, by the way, I thought that was hilarious because you know some of those big companies, they can't buy it any cheaper than that.
In my opinion, the GH3 is the way to go. It's weather sealed. It's a pro-level camera.
Oh, yeah.
And that 12 to 35 and 35 to 100 lens, because of the field of view, takes the place of your bread and butter kit, camera kit, and lenses for a DSLR.
Oh, yeah. When I have my first contact with DSLR shooters and they ask, hey, Will, you're always talking about that mirrorless stuff. I'll pull out a GH3 and I'll put on the 12 to 35. Now, that gives you the same angle of coverage as the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 on the Nikon or Canon, full frame. Then everybody's got to shoot the 70 to 200 f2.8, right? That's a money-making lens. Well, how would you like to have a 70 to 200 that's now a third of the size, a third of the weight, only 2/3 the price, and it's better optically, it autofocuses better? That's what the 35 to 100 is on the Lumix. It's the same angle of coverage as a 70 to 200. It's a non-shifting zoom. It holds f2.8. It autofocuses much faster, and the fact that it's a third of the weight makes a big deal at the end of the day.
Okay, but now I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Because I can hear all these guys out there already saying, but wait, it's got a smaller sensor.
That's my devil bug.
It's not full frame.
Yeah, that's right.
So is that really making a difference? Now, I'm going to take this a step further because I know you have just recently merged your business with a guy that's very famous out there in the world of photography. He has shot the likes of Woody Allen and people like John Cougar Mellencamp and Michael Jordan and a whole slew of celebrities.
That's right.
And he has basically his own style of photograph that he's famous for. And he's there in Chicago with you. You've merged your business with him. So tell me, does the smaller sensor on a Micro Four Third camera hold up to that kind of business? And tell the people what you've been doing.
You got it. There is a dear friend of mine. His name is Mark Hauser. He is a living master photographer. He primarily does kind of a bold version of black and white portraiture. And he's been doing it a long time, and he's very successful. Well, Mark, unfortunately, he's had a little bit of a medical issue, and he's out for a couple of months. So instead of canceling his entire holiday schedule, he asked me if it would be possible for me to jump in and fill in for him. So, I mean, it's quite an honor. I mean, how do you say no to Mark Hauser, right?
You don't.
You don't, right. So I did. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And in the meantime, what I did was I was so much more comfortable shooting the GH3 than he's got Canon set inside there. And, of course, I'm fine with 5Ds. I'm more of a Nikon guy than a Canon guy. But I wanted to test it and see. The bottom line is that when Mark Hauser shoots, he shoots a lot of square. So he shoots square format. And the prints that he sells are 10 by 10, 12 by 12, 16 16, and 24 24. So I needed to be able to shoot a family portrait, 4, 5, maybe 6 people, sometimes with a dog. And I needed to be able to shoot that in square in the camera because I set the camera for square. That means that I'm taking a GH3, setting it to the 1:1 aspect ratio. That means it's an 11.2 megapixel sensor. That's not a lot of pixels.
Right.
But I'm making family portraits that are 24 by 24. And I shoot JPEG. I don't shoot RAW. RAW's for kids, right? I go click. It goes through the wire. It pops up there. Mom goes, that's terrific. It sends right back to image print. We got Mark's gallery printing lab is at our disposal, right? With the best of the best of the best. So we're seeing zero issues with not only, by the way, Scott, shooting that 11 megapixel sensor and making just gorgeous prints. And people are more than welcome to hop on hybridphoto.pro, and not only will you see how we do that, but if they'd like to download one of the original files out of the camera, you can actually see what it looks like coming out of the camera. Particularly the black and white is spectacular. But we've also got the ability to shoot in this gorgeous black and white that we can adjust our dynamic range any way we want to. So 3 big things, buddy. Yeah, we're shooting in square and it's 11 megapixel. We don't use flash anymore in the studio. It's all continuous light because I want to start shooting more video. The mirrorless cameras offer photo and video that match. They're the same size, same tonality. All the things apply back and forth. And I got to tell you, buddy, the black and white that comes out of that GH3 can only be surpassed by medium format digital. The Leaf backs, the Mamiya backs, the Phase 1 backs. That's the only way I've seen black and white.
You're talking about jumping right over a full frame camera into the big medium format.
Yeah. Black and white portraiture.
Yeah.
Nothing beats, well, the Fuji cameras, right? The Fuji X series cameras have the best black and white in the universe, but they're just a little slow to shoot under these kind of speedy circumstances. Those folks that are watching this and are shooting DSLR, any DSLR, you will get better black and white out of a Lumix GH3 when it comes to portraiture than you would any DSLR.
Let's talk about speed really quick there, though, Will, because you just laid a whole bunch of stuff out there, and I really want to kind of anchor this.
Sure.
The process you're using now with the mirrorless cameras, you're doing pre-processing and wireless tethering.
Yeah, well,
and
wired
is that helping you to save time?
Yeah. The wireless is still too slow on the GH3. It's okay if you're not under the time frame, but remember, we've got a studio with a really high overhead.
Gotcha.
So the session when Mark used to shoot there, because they didn't have a staff that was kind of crockettized yet, they were taking 90 minutes to 2 hours to get a session processed, right? The person in. That's too long for the person to be there. They can't spend that much time.
Right.
So my goal is to get it to 60 minutes. Right now I'm at about 72 minutes, but we want people to come on in, have that portrait session. Then the images are going to go through a USB cable from the camera stand all the way over to the computer. Then the sales technician takes over. Sometimes if there's kids there, I'll go reshoot the kids in a different way, a different lighting style to keep them occupied so mom's got time to look at the pictures. But we're going to do all the pre-processing possible because the amount of time and energy that we spend on taking the photos that I shoot and correcting exposure, white balance, contrast is 0.
And that's beautiful. And that's the beautiful thing about having the mirrorless camera. And a lot of people will say they love the DSLR because of the whole prism viewfinder matrix there. But the thing is, you don't know what that picture is going to look like until you take it.
Yeah.
With the mirrorless, the GH3 and other cameras like that, I can actually look at the screen or in the viewfinder, and I can see what the picture is going to look like before I take it.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's even crazier is when we're talking about photograph. If you go to housertown.com, and on the home page, you'll see a couple of dark-skinned African-American families. Well, you need a lot of dynamic range, right? We need to be able to adjust the dynamic range in that camera. One of the tools that I love about shooting GH3 as well as other mirrorless camera is I can plug an HDMI cable into that camera. And I can run a 50-foot long cable up to my 50-inch plasma TV screen that's hanging up there in the corner of the ceiling. And I can see every nuance of that image before I shoot it. The highlight detail, exposure, sharpness, depth of field, anything I want to do, I've already got on a television, and it doesn't interfere with my shooting process. I can leave it there all I want to. It doesn't slow the camera down one whisper.
And guys like you and Mark Hauser are not going to, skimp on quality.
Oh, no, we can't.
So shooting every day with the GH3 to make prints is working for you.
It is.
I already know it works for hybrid. It's the best, in my opinion, still. It's been out for about a year. Yeah. It's still the best hybrid camera on the planet today.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to come out in 2014.
I may disagree with you a little bit depending on what we're shooting because I've got such great results off the Fuji X series when I want to do things with big, bold color or super low light stuff. The Fuji X series has a better image quality overall. But
right. The X-Trans sensors are wonderful.
They're wonderful.
Absolutely.
Particularly with low light.
Yep.
But I got to tell you, man, the GH3, it's affordable. The Face Detect autofocus for portraiture cannot be beat. Their lenses are spectacular. You can buy one here this weekend for $850. I mean, how do you go wrong with that?
You better correct yourself. You can actually steal one for $850.
So
that camera is worth every penny and then some.
it is. It is. It's a little money-making machine. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So what, do you have any goals for 2014? I mean, I know we've talked about a lot of stuff up to now. Let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the next 3 months, 6 months, and year out?
Yep.
What is Crockett going to be doing?
Well, I want to keep going with you and the rest of the hybrid heroes to finish that process. I love to learn what everybody's doing when now it comes to the part where we're actually taking all this stuff that we worked on and applying it into a business model to make dollars out of it. We stay real tight to the LinkedIn group, and if folks that are watching want to join a professional level, it's professionals only. You have to, ask for an invitation, and we'll be glad to accept you. But it's not a web forum, where people get to go trash stuff. I mean, there's no trolls allowed. It's a LinkedIn group called Hybrid Photography with Mirrorless Cameras, and this is where we exchange data. There is over 1,000 of us now that are shooting hybrid and running into problems, talking about audio, talking about lighting, all this other stuff. Well, I want to beef up that group. I want to share everything that I do and pick up everything that you do, for instance, on that group, even better than we did before. So goal number one is I want to take the LinkedIn group and get it to 5,000 people, because that's going to give me the cross-section that I need to continue developing those products. Next thing is I want to make more educational videos. I love the ability to talk live to people, is terrific, but we've got a series of videos that are super affordable on the photochannel.pro that get right to the point. You want to learn the real deal about LEDs, what they do, what they don't do, how we're going to replace the lighting that we have with strobes now that with LEDs. That's all that stuff's on there. So the second thing I want to do is I want to make another 10 VOD videos, view on demand videos for the photo channel. I mean, that's terrific. And then, of course, the biggie is Mr. Mark Hauser and I looks like we're going to merge our two businesses. And the one thing that I asked Mark to do is I need him to take it easy. He needs to rest. He needs to realize he's, 60 years old. He's a semi-retired guy. But I'm going to march 2,000 customers through the studio this year to get an e-product created. 2,000, buddy. I'm not stopping until I get them all. I've got the advertising. I got the marketing put together. We're going big, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I was really excited. Last night I popped a cork off of a champagne bottle to ring in the new year. Today we popped the cork off information. There's a lot of stuff going to be happening here.
There is.
Will has just laid out the tip of the iceberg, folks. Yeah. So make sure you go out to see him at PMA.
Yeah.
This weekend in Las Vegas. Which hotel is it at?
I'm at Bally's, but of course everybody can watch it for free. No registration, nothing. Just go to hybridlive.pro on January 5 at about 2:45 Pacific
Yeah, you
time.
want to get there a little early, I would say.
Right now there's a video there that tells you what's going to happen, and then that link is going to get flipped over to go see the live program. It's totally free. Spend 90 minutes with me live from Las Vegas on the 5th, and we may just change the way you make money in photography.
Absolutely, and you definitely want to join that LinkedIn group, and I highly recommend that you go over to photochannel.pro as well, because the information's changing and evolving fast and furiously, folks. There is so many innovations happening, and you'll be right there with the team that's creating all this stuff that Will's talking about.
And we're not talking $150, right? You see that some of those guys have videos that are $150?
Yeah, I never buy those from those guys.
No, I don't either. Yeah, ours are $10, man. You get to watch them for 90 days for $10. You got to,
and they're constantly updated.
Constantly, yeah, beautiful.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Will. The information is great. I'm excited about what's going to happen here. I know you are too.
Yeah, I am.
I know you got to get to packing your bags there for Vegas.
I do. So, yeah, we're bailing out of here. Yep.
Again, thanks again, Will. Happy New Year.
Thanks to you,
and
buddy.
We'll see you next time.
Sure will. Thanks a lot to Mirrorless Central.
My pleasure.